newcomers, 2 freshmen, that first 2 to get their stripes off today. Tight end Latrell Bumpus and safety Theo Jackson. So their stripes were removed from practice and very well deserved. So I'll answer any questions y'all may have.
Any update on Jarrett Guarantano?
Yeah, he unfortunately had a death in the family, and all of our thoughts and prayers go out to the entire Guarantano family. He's actually on a plane right now coming back to Knoxville, and we'll have him in meetings late tonight.
The ones-on-ones today that you let us watch, is that like a daily thing that you guys do, and how much of that do you do?
Well, it's all about competition and that competitive spirit which we're talking about, and whether we go best out of 7, best out of 5, and also it's the ability to start fast. We have to start fast this year, so it encompasses a lot of things, but yes, we've been doing that.
Were Bumpus and Jackson 2 guys that you thought could be candidates to be the first 2 guys to get their stripes removed, or is that?
You never know. You're always kind of interested to see who will have them removed first, but very deserving. They come and they work hard every day, and it's all about earning the respect of your peers, and they have them as evidence today.
What are you seeing out of Alexis Johnson? Seems like he's moving up the depth chart, but hadn't heard a whole lot about him.
He is, but we need a lot more. We need the mental stamina, the physical stamina in terms of getting yourself in football shape, and the ability to think strategically when you're winded, especially in a 1-minute situation. That's, where a defensive line really has to come to play, and just being able to have great get off, which, we're working there right now. But he's coming along, but, we're going to continue to need more from him.
Did you make a final decision about whether or not to scrimmage Saturday?
Yeah, we're still ongoing to see where we're at after today.
When you look at the relationship of Coach Canales and Coach Scott, and how Coach Scott played for Coach Canales, but they're 16 years apart. Now one's, kind of one rung above the other on the ladder. What does that just kind of say about their relationship and the relationships that you form in this business?
Well, it's all about relationships, and we talk about obviously our players and being a family, but it's the same as coaches, and these individuals go back a very, very long period of time. And I still remember making many trips as a young coach to the University of South Florida when they were in the trailers, and spending time with Mike Canales, and then obviously Larry Scott as well, and talking a lot of football. And Coach Canales and I would go to conventions, and we'd get the mirror off the bathroom hotel, and we'd use it as a grease board. And again, those 2 individuals work very, very well together, and I think anytime you can add individuals that have been coordinators in your room, and they get along as they do, and they respect each other, I think that really helps. And then obviously when you throw in the expertise of Robert Gillespie and Walt Wells, who's also been an offensive coordinator, that really helps.
Do you feel like one side of the ball is ahead of the other at this point?
Well, I think right now we're a little bit ahead of the game defensively. I think for a number of reasons. I think first of all, it's just continuity on offense. We have 0 continuity on offense, and we have to step it up there. And I trust that we will, but it's not to our expectations. And so again, to me, the next few practices are monumental. Today's the last day of summer school, so we put that behind us. We move into the hotel tonight, and to me, this is all about training camp now. Is it's 100% focus on football, and this team has to continue to grow and mature. And so the next few days, I think, are going to tell us a lot about the makeup of our football team.
What are you looking for when you move into the hotel and it becomes pure football?
Consistency day in and day out. There can be no bad days, no poor practices. Great championship football teams come out here with a mentality, and this is where your toughness, your mental toughness is tested to be able to bring it. And we talk about being, driven individuals and being a driven football team, and this is where your leadership kicks in, and again, your maturity as a football team. But we have to step it up as an entire football team, because everybody's play affects everyone, whether it's on offense, defense, or special teams.
How much harder is it to gauge that toughness without 3-a-days, without 2-a-days, and the mandatory days off and stuff?
Well, I think toughness is a broad term. There's so much that encompasses toughness, and it first starts with mental toughness. If you have no mental toughness, you're not going to be able to have physical toughness, and it starts with being in great physical condition with everything that you do. The ability to think strategically again when you're winded, to be able to do the little things that nobody wants to do and push yourself through and go through the grind. And I think if you have that mental toughness, and obviously the physical toughness will come, and then the attributes that are really born in the strength strength and conditioning room with Coach Gullickson as well. So that's a broad term. It's encompassing, and in order to play tough on Saturdays, you have to practice tough each and every day.
Coach, have you gotten back some of those offensive linemen that you were missing earlier?
Yeah, it was great. We had Marcus Tatum back today. We had Trey Smith back today. Brett Kendrick's been back. So anytime we get them back, that obviously helps. And, I give a lot of individuals credit. Drew Richmond has taken every rep with the ones and the twos. Venzel Bower has taken every rep with the ones and the twos. Jack Jones, the same way. Coleman Thomas, these are individuals that, that have gained valuable repetitions with obviously the limited amount of offensive linemen that we've had. But, we need to get everyone back. We need to, start that continuity and working together as one, and the only way you do it is you have to practice all 11 at one time.
How long are you in you said the hotel. How long are you in the hotel?
I want to say about 6 days, and it's a way for them to get away, be together as a team, and be able to have team meetings and do different things that teams go through in training camp. And there's so much that goes to the evolution of a football team, and this part of it, this component, is very, very important.
How
And
long have you done this?
everybody in the country does it. I mean, this is pretty standard in college football. We did it at Central Michigan. We did it at Cincinnati. At Cincinnati, we had an unbelievable training camp experience because we actually went away to a place called Camp Higher Ground that was built there with 2 full fields. You're in the woods of Indiana, and no cell phones, no clutter and distraction. Obviously, with SEC rules, we're not able to leave campus. So, again, we have to create that training camp environment. I know some people, even in training camp, even though they're practicing on campus, they'll go practice on other fields to create that environment. But we have a great facility here that we need to take full advantage of.
Butch, how much have you paid attention to, whether it be Jason getting the catch last night or Alvin? And then will you watch that, sit down and try to find 20 minutes to watch Josh play tonight?
Yeah, Josh and I exchanged text messages yesterday, and very, very excited for him. And, yeah, kind of when I got home, you're kind of watching – to see how your players did, and very proud of all of them. And, when all the NFL scouts come in, following up on them and trying to text message them, and then, sending them the Vol for Life gear as well. It's all about the pride that we have, so very proud of them.
Coach, like working with the defensive line just now, who's really impressed you today and throughout fall camp on the defensive line position?
Well, again, Daryl Taylor's been very, very consistent. Really liked his approach. Jonathan Combo has done some good things. I've seen flashes of all of them. Kendall Vickers has been very, very consistent. But again, it's the number 60 lineman, the number 7, the number 8. We just spoke about Alexis Johnson. But it's a lot of those individuals that we're going to need to get ready in a hurry, and some youngsters, Kavon Bennett, individuals like that. They have to understand, that their time could be now. And it's just like the quarterback situation with the unfortunate, thing that what happened to Jarrett and his family. Will McBride now gets all the number 2 reps, and I think it was a great illustration as you're one snap ahead or away from have to go into the game and play winning football. So all these teach opportunities, these are invaluable, and that's why you have training camp.
One more. If you miss that scrimmage tomorrow, how concerning is that going to be with a complicated team like Georgia Tech coming up?
Well, again, if we were to scrimmage, it would be against ourselves, so it wouldn't be against Georgia Tech's scheme. So, it's when you're preparing for Georgia Tech, it's completely different. It's an entirely different ball game defensively, but we'll find ways to make up that scrimmage if we don't do it, and we may still do it. So we're kind of waiting and seeing. But one thing's for sure, weather permitting, is we'll have an opportunity to practice in Neyland Stadium, and when we go in there, our players have to understand the intensity and the honor and privilege that it is to play in that great venue.
What kind of camp has Tyler Bird had so far?
Again, he's been out here. I think he's greatly improved from the spring. But again, consistency. We just, with everyone, we're hunting consistency on every single snap. But I think he's taken great strides from the summer. And he's competing for playing time. And that's one of the most competitive battles we have right now in this football team is the wide receiver position, and they're competing every day. And the great thing is they're coming out here and they know that they can't afford to miss a rep because of the competition at those spots.
All right, thank you.